Hello and welcome to what is Piston and Wrench. My name is Quinton and today we are working on a VW Golf Mark 3. We're going to be doing the cylinder head gasket on it. It's going to be a bit of a long video, so we're going to split it into 4 parts. So part 1 is going to be diagnosis and the quotation part where I've already got the parts and I'm going to talk through the parts of what I've got and what I'm going to be doing. For those of you who are YouTube subscribers, please can you subscribe to my channel. We need as many subscribers as possible and we need as many views as possible and as many likes. For those of you who are not YouTube subscribers, please like my content and continue to view and keep a lookout for new content that I keep posting. There's going to be a lot of content coming up and one very big project where we're going to be rebuilding a whole entire car. I'll be talking about the details possibly on the next video, so keep tuned. We're going to talk about it, so let's get started. We're going to be working on the Golf. Still a little bit dirty. We'll tend to that. So at the moment it's got a blown head gasket. Not very nice. So the customer's complaint is that when they are driving it doesn't overheat. If you let it stand idle, it doesn't overheat. If you get to an incline and you start accelerating a bit, temperature goes up. Those are symptoms of a blockage in the cooling system. So the customer had another mechanic. They removed the thermostat and that sort of system. The problem is the customer continued to drive time and time again, overheating the engine quite a lot to the point it's got a blown head gasket. Come to me to do the repairs, but we still need to get to the cause of why. What is causing the overheating? Why is there a restriction in the cooling system? So there's a few possibilities. Radiator can be blocked, coolant pump, blockage in the pipes, or the thermostat. They've removed the thermostat, it's got full flow, but there's still a restriction. So, easier way to tell is to basically put coolant in the system, start it up, let it run, check all your pipes, the top pipe, top radiator pipe, bottom radiator pipe. Don't forget the heater pipe. Very important. There's 2 radiators in the car. One is heater core inside the vehicle, behind the back. The other is the actual radiator. Fits over here. Part of your cooling system. So this guy actually cools your engine down. Now never neglect the heater radiator. If you haven't got flow going through your heater radiator, then you're not going to cool properly. You will not get proper flow through your radiator. On this particular Golf, this is a Golf 3, Generation 1 Golf, Generation 2 Golf, Generation 3 Golf. Mainly the carbureted models that had a single pipe that came from the top of the radiator went to this expansion bowl over here. When that pipe gets blocked up or gets restricted, it overheats. Exactly to what's happening with a customer. When they're going to uphill, accelerate, it overheats. Driving normally, temperature comes down, sort of behaves, picks up a little bit, comes down, basically fluctuates a little bit. But when you come to a stop, you generally hear the bubbling noise, terrible bubbling noise, and it comes from here. So, 2 things we're going to look at. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to check the flow. We check the pipes are getting hot. And then we're going to inspect this pipe here. I already know what the problem is. I already found it. It was pretty quick and easy. So I'd like to go through the process so you guys can understand of how the cooling system works and how to determine where the fault is. So on my side, the return pipe to here doesn't come from the radiator on this model because it's an injection model. It comes from the top of the thermostat housing over here, or the water outlet housing. Goes around. See a throttle body, on the throttle body here. So that acts as your vent valve or your bleed-off valve, or your bleed-off pump. That allows air to pass through, come out there and take all the air out the system. It also allows the system to flow. This pipe has a restriction on it, or it's blocked. You're not going to get proper flow through your radiator. It will not cool properly. Doing exactly what it does. Going on RPL, accelerating hard. So on first inspection, this pipe over here has a kink over here. I'll show you that now. Has a kink over here. Straight away I could see that. So that's basically not stopping the flow, but it is restricting the flow. Now that is a huge possibility of being the problem, probably about 70 to 80% chance of actually being the problem. And a lot of people do. Over time, if you just run water in your cooling system, everything through it, first thing to go here usually is your throttle body pipes. And if people bypass them by putting a pipe from water outlet directly to the bottle. Which is generally a lot better. I don't know why they have that cheapest throttle body in the injection one. Only on the injection one. Doesn't make sense. So, first of all, we're going to check. Coolant in there. We already topped it up. There's water in. We're just putting water in for now. We're testing, we're going to be stripping, we're going to be doing the cylinder head. This is just to diagnose the cause of why we got overheating before we actually do the repair. If it's a radiator, we know what to order. If it's a water pump, we're going to change that anyway, but we need to diagnose. Thermostat we're going to be changing because I took it out. And the pipe, we need to know which one so we can order. The heater radiator, we need to quote and order. I hope it's not the heater radiator because that means dash out. Why I'm trying to avoid that at all costs if you can, because that is time consuming and very costly. Costly on the purchase of the heater radiator and costly on labor. The reason why I say it's costly on labor is because it takes about 6 hours or so, give or take, depending on the vehicle, to remove the dashboard, take the heater box out, replace the radiator, put everything back, heat the system out, test it from there. So, right now, the battery is flat, so I'm going to jump start it and we're going to come back to the video. Okay, so I've connected up my jumper cables. I've got quite a big battery here. I don't think you can see it, but it is quite a big deep cycle battery. Pretty powerful. When you're jump starting a car, negative terminal on the one side, to the other side, negative. Positive, positive. Never crisscross them. You're going to blow fuses and possibly damage computer boxes or ECUs, body control modules, engine control modules, but the main fuse is generally blown. So just connect them negative to negative, positive to positive, always. When the car starts, it starts idling, remove the negative first. Not the positive, the negative, and then the positive. Okay, so we're going to start the car. You notice I've removed the bottle cap. The reason why I've done that is because it has got a blown head gasket and it's going to push bubbles out slowly. So we don't want it to build up excess pressure right now, so we're going to let the pressure vent out. So we're going to start it. Make sure it's in neutral. positive terminal. Always remember that. The safest way to connect and disconnect the batteries when you're jump starting. While we're running it up to temperature, I like to generally give it a slightly fast idle. On this model, it's very easy to do. You just adjust the cable, pull the slip out, pull the cable back until the RPM picks up to about 1,500 RPM. Put the clip back and it just stays. It'll stop a little bit, but it'll basically stay in that area. The reason why we do that, pick up the temperature a little bit quicker while we fuel the pump. The heater hoses, both heater hoses should get hot. The one side's going to get hot first, the one that flows into the car, and the one that flows out is going to get hot last. So those two are the things I'm going to be checking first. Removing the clip. This is the clip here. Pull the cable back a little bit slowly. You can see here, the light on, you can see it's bubbling there constantly. That is because of the blown head gasket. You can see it's heating up fairly quick. This top pipe here, warm, at the bottom over there, there's a pipe. Right there where my finger's pointing to, that's the bottom radiator hose. That is also getting hot. Making too much noise now. Okay, let me turn the engine off. Okay. So both the heater hoses, you can see them over here. That's inlet, that's outlet. One goes to the back of the head over here. That one comes to the pipe over here. There's a steel pipe that comes along there. You can see it there, that goes to the back there by the water pump. And also there's a pipe that joins over here that comes up to the bottle. This is the top hose, the bleed off hose. It goes around. You can see the kink there, the one I was telling you about. There, and then obviously coming back to where the kink is, coming around to there. So this is where it basically bleeds off. It flows in that direction, flows through, it's getting restricted over there, goes through the throttle body, and from there it goes to the bottle. So this pipe is very soft, a little bit too soft for my liking. This one as well, that kink there, definitely a problem. You can see it's been like that for quite a long time. More than likely the cause of all the issues, because as you've seen with the test that we just did, we've got flow, got even flow through the heater core, which is good, even flow through the radiator, which is good. So also indicates that the water pump is working, because the thermostat has been taken out. The bubbles coming out there, which is head gasket. So literally the only thing it can be is that pipe. Between that and the blown head gasket, but that's caused the blown head gasket over a period of time. It's not going to do it immediately. It's going to take some time for it to do it. It'll be repeated overheating. It'll cause it. So that's a lot of fun. Okay, I've quoted the customer basically everything for gold wagon parts, which is the next best thing. I just didn't have the budget for it, so we went for the next best, which is very good quality parts, but in the normal spare shop. So what we've got is Victor range gaskets. They're very good quality. Prefer using Victor range. Victor range head bolts. So we're replacing all the cylinder head bolts, which, by the way, I recommend doing every time you do a cylinder head gasket. It's recommended to change your head bolts. Even if you think they're still okay, better just to do it, because a lot of the times they are stretch bolts, and every time you tighten them up to torque, they stretch a little bit, and they've got a tolerance on how far they can go before they snap. The last thing you want is to assemble a cylinder head and a bolt snaps. It's happened to me, not very nice. Better just to replace it and you know you're done. We're using Shell Helix engine oil, very good quality oil filter. We've got a cam belt tensioner, thermostat, and a coolant pump. We've opted to go for a full coolant pump, because on these models you can get the half pump, which is just that section there. But what happens is after time, the insides over here corrodes. So it's better to change the whole pump. Otherwise you sit with flow problems and leaks and all sorts of stuff which no one wants. Got antifreeze, got a 5-litre antifreeze, which will be more than enough for this car. This is a pre-mixed antifreeze. It is not a concentrate. The difference between a pre-mixed antifreeze and a concentrate you have to mix not with tap water, but with like what they call soft water, chemical-less water, something that is pure water. Okay? This has already got that in. So this is pre-mixed, so I don't need to worry about adding water into it. So I can just use straight antifreeze in the system. And the 5-litre will be more than enough to fill the system and it'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to first clean the engine, and then we're going to get going and start stripping the cylinder head off, because I've got to get it to the engineers so they can skim the head. I've opted for them to skim the head, and we're going to be doing the valves ourselves. The reason why we've done that is to save money for the customer. The customer, she's elderly. We're trying to help her out and trying to cut costs down as much as possible. So I've cut my labour down. We've put different parts on, not the parts I wanted to put, but we put quality parts at least. And I'm going to be doing some of the engineering myself, which I'm also going to do a video on now. So we're going to be doing the valves ourselves. I'm only going to send it to engineers for them to pressure test the head and just skim the head. And then we'll be doing the valves and checking the guards and all that stuff, which she won't have money to replace. She does plan on selling the car, but she wants to have the car in a good running condition before she sells it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now. We're going to get that car out. We're going to give it a quick wash, just the engine, just to get most of the grease and oil and whatever off. So when we work on it, I'm not going to get overly dirty. I'm going to get dirty no matter what, but I'm not going to get overly dirty. I prefer to have it squeaky clean because it's just better to work with. But it's an old car, it's going to be greasy, it's going to be dirty. Let's just try and cut it down to a minimum just to make my life a bit easier. And then yeah, once we get the head off, I'll show you guys what's going on in the head with the camshaft, hydraulic lifters, the valves. We'll probably remove all the valves and I'll show you guys how the valves go in with the springs and the retaining clips, which we call cotters here in South Africa. So yeah, we're going to go ahead with that now. Hope everybody enjoyed that video. So that is the end of part 1. Part 2 is where we actually strip the engine and we actually diagnose a little bit further, and we have a few issues with it, with a few seized bolts and 1 or 2 broken bolts which we had to repair, and we found a few other issues. So please stay tuned for part 2. It's very interesting. So until next time, I hope you guys keep looking at the channel and subscribing and viewing and liking my content. Until next time.